Today, we embark on our next adventure in this world, and in order to do that, we need to be able to get to the place where we are headed. So I've mentioned before that there is a location in the distance where I plan on building our next big project, and this is actually the location where I was inspired to choose this seed. So I've been very excited to start this project ever since before the world even began. So to say I'm excited is an understatement. Something that I find so satisfying in a Minecraft world is infrastructure. Yes, so sexy, I know. But connecting the various parts of your world is arguably not necessary, but it gives the impression that there is more to explore, and it can be very useful down the line. And though you can connect your world in more ways than one, like we have done here with our nether highways, today we are going to be focusing on connecting our world in the overworld. And as we go through this process, we will talk about the various things to consider while designing your own bridge, and stick around to the end to see how you can use these concepts to design a bridge that is unique to your own style. There is no one-size-fits-all method for designing a bridge, so let's focus more on the concepts. The first thing you need to determine when designing a bridge is location. Will the bridge be crossing over a river, an ocean, or maybe connecting two land masses together? In my situation, we are connecting two land masses together over a long distance. Once you know where the bridge is going, you can next determine the scale. I didn't want the bridge in my world to overshadow the village, but we also didn't want the bridge to be so low to the water that a boat can't pass beneath it. So our bridge sits about 6 blocks above the water, but that may be different for you. At this scale, we have plenty of room to detail and incorporate structure while still fitting within the context of the village. The scale is important because it impacts bay sizing, column sizing, and even detail level. When I say bay sizing, I'm talking about the structural bay or the spacing between the columns that support the bridge. If you're crossing a small stream, you probably just need one bay, and you won't have as much room to detail. But as the scale of the bridge increases, so does the quantity of bays. Before you start designing your bay, you'll want to have an idea of what kind of style you're going for. So let's go ahead and walk through the build we will be utilizing today, and we can talk about other style options along the way. So as mentioned, our bridge is 6 blocks above the water. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is going to be the start of our bay. And we do have 11 blocks between each column. So 11 air blocks, which means that this would become the next column, but just to double check, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So then this becomes the 12th, making 11 air blocks between each column. So we'll bring this one back up to 6 blocks as well and connect these two. So we know that the flat portion of our bridge is 6 blocks above water. We're pretending the grass is water right now. This is the start of our bay. Now, we want to make sure that it looks structurally supported from a distance, and the style that we are going for is a more traditional, fairly modest style. So we're not going for anything too extravagant, nothing too detailed, because we don't want to overpower the village. So we are now going in and going to add a stair on the 3rd block down. So we've got an upside down stair there. Above the stair, we have a slab, and then connected to the stair, we have a solid block. And then from that point on, we've got a top slab and a bottom slab. Then we've got another stair right here, and then one final slab here. So that is allows us to make it appear as if there's an archway. Imagine it's mirrored on this side as well. It's going to add some nice detail from a distance that makes it appear as if the bridge is properly being supported. Now, we're going to go ahead and add a lantern, and this is the center of the entire bay. And then we are going to repeat that on the other side. So go 3 blocks down, 1, 2, 3. Place a stair upside down. On top of the stair, we place a slab. Next to the slab, we place a solid block. And then from there, we go top slab, bottom slab, stair, and another slab. So that is the first part of designing the bay. Now, we're going to want to determine how wide that the bridge is going to be, and in my case we are going with 5 blocks wide for the walkway. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to go ahead and pull this back. So we'll bring this all the way back here and then connect it here, and we're basically going to repeat that on the opposite side. Now, I decided just to break up these stone bricks a little bit, that we are going to go ahead and add a chiseled stone brick where this bottom stair meets the column. So we'll do that on all 4 ends. And then from that point on, we are going to go ahead and add additional stairs along the edge just to add a little bit extra depth along the bridge. So we'll put that along here. We'll put that along here. Now let's go ahead and fill in the rest of this opening so we can actually walk across this bridge. So I'm gonna go ahead and place all these in. I can actually use the extrude tool since I have Axiom installed, and we'll do that just to speed it up. And for my specific design, I opted to replace these blocks on the opposite side of the center. So let me take those out real quick. We replace these with slabs. So we have top slabs above, and it just adds a little bit of depth from the underside when you're looking at the bridge, but it is not necessary at all. So you do not have to do anything like this, but just keep in mind that if there's an opportunity to add depth that doesn't impact the way your bridge actually functions, go ahead and feel free to do that if you'd like, because it does already make a big difference just adding those shadows in. For the cross bracing, we are going to be adding an additional solid block, and then above the chiseled stone brick, we've got a stair on either side. And by doing that, we can then place a lantern in the center, and it just adds some lighting. But then as we continue this on further to the next portion of the bridge, it does look a lot better from the underside, just to pop that down a little bit further, as opposed to just putting the lantern up here. I think it looks a little bit better to have this additional block below. And then looking at it from this side, you do also get that arch impression. And we'll go ahead and add that to this side as well. So we've got our solid block, our stair on either side, just above the chiseled stone brick. And then we've got our lantern. So overall, we have a bay that is 13 blocks wide right now, and the walkway is actually 7 blocks wide, but we are going to go ahead and use this outer lip on each side for the handrail or guardrail. So what I've decided to do is place a glowstone block above the column. So we'll place that here, and we're going to do that on all 4 sides. And then from that point on, we are going to place a stone brick on either side of the glowstone. And then from there, we're going to alternate between oak fence gates and stone brick walls. Now all that's left is we are going to cover up the glowstone with some oak trapdoors. And I think the oak trapdoors just help mellow out the brightness of the glowstone, especially when you use shaders that make light sources a little bit more glowy than just regular vanilla Minecraft wood. And then from that point on, we added a little bit extra detailing, not too much, but we just put some stone buttons on top of the solid blocks that are on either side of the glowstone. So that is the bay design that we went with for our bridge in our world personally. Now, let's say you want to have a bridge around the same size, but you want something that's a little bit more rustic. So we're going to try an option with more wood blocks, as you can see down in my hotbar, but we're going to keep the same overall spacing. So I'm going to go ahead and replace this main column with the stripped spruce log. So let's bring this up to, let's go to 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take that one off. And this top area where you're going to actually be walking, let's make this just spruce planks instead, so that you're not walking on logs. So we'll do that and add a strip spruce log on this side as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a spruce plank on top. And then I'm thinking, instead of doing the chiseled stone brick, I do like having that little detail of just a different pattern. So I'm going to replace that with the exposed side of the spruce log. So we'll do that on this side as well. So do that, and then let's repeat that on the other 4 corners. So we got 1, 2, 3, do one here. Instead of the stairs, I think what you want to do, another exposed spruce log, and then drag this all the way across. So let's do that, so that we have the little overhang on each side, but it won't necessarily be stairs, so it kind of mixes up the profile. I actually feel like instead of doing the arch underneath, let's go ahead and use the spruce fences to connect all the way down the bridge. So we'll do that. And I like that support, but I honestly feel like it may need another column down the center. So this is kind of turning into a bridge that has 2 bays rather than 1, but the idea still stays the same, that once you have one designed, you can just duplicate all the way down. And I don't really like seeing the edge, the harsh line of the fence on this side. So let's go ahead and cover this with spruce trapdoors and see how that looks. And I like that a lot better. I think that works with this spacing as well. It still feels like it's structurally stable. Let's replace this for a column or a exposed log. Now I'm going to repeat that on the other side, and then we will keep going from that point on. Okay, so we've got those in place. Let's go ahead and do that on this side as well. We will need to incorporate some more lighting. At some point, I do want to use shroom lights in place of the glowstone on the upper handrail, but I do need to figure out how I want to light the underside of the bridge, because we do not want to turn this into a mob spawner as well. So let's go ahead and do this for now, and we will probably come back in and add lanterns whenever we feel like they're necessary. But let's move back up to the handrail. So we'll do the shroom lights above each column on both sides. And instead of doing the stone bricks on the sides, let's do a leaf. So we'll go in and do this, just to kind of like add that buffer between the light and the rest of the bridge. And then I'm going to cover it up with the spruce trapdoors on top of the shroom lights as well. And then for handrails, I want to try and do a spruce hanging sign. So I think I actually have to break the leaves to get it to connect. You kind of have to get these in place to begin with. And then once you have them in place, you can come in and break that end one off, but it won't just automatically connect initially. So kind of forgot about that. So let's go ahead and do that on each side. And I'm liking the way that this is looking, but I think we want to make it look a little bit more beat up. So I'm going to replace some of these logs here with some stairs, just to add a little bit of change in the shape. So it almost seems like pieces of it are falling off. So let's do another stair here and say like a slab on the, let's do a slab up here. And then let's add some planks along the column just to, again, change up the texture as if it's a little bit worn. We'll do this one instead. And then bring that around, and we'll do that on this side as well. Okay, now let's go ahead and make the walkway look a little bit more dilapidated. So I'm gonna add in a campfire. And okay, actually I'm thinking we may need to swap all these for slabs so that we can make this blend in better with the bottom of the walkway. And actually I think that'll work better because it makes this a block and a half a little bit more, so it seems like a proper handrail. So let's go ahead and swap all of these for bottom slabs. Okay, now I'm just gonna go in and add patches of campfire. So I think we can just kind of throw these in very sporadically wherever it feels right, and then put those out with the shovel. And then we can also add in some spruce trapdoors to additionally kind of lower that floor in certain areas. Let's do this over here. We can kind of switch the direction of everything too, just to make it feel as if it is a little more like patchwork. So let's add some trapdoors here. And lastly, I feel like we could replace some of these with more leaves just to make it feel as if it is being a little bit overtaken by these leaves, and maybe even some mangrove roots. So let's throw some of those in as well. And lastly, let's add some lanterns underneath the bridge in place of these fences, now that we've got the floor all laid out as we like, and I would call that good. So this is very similar in shape, but we are using those same techniques to come up with a different design just based on style preference alone. So in a way, we have smaller bays, but we're able to make the structure in between a little bit smaller. So now we've got a bridge that could theoretically be in the same exact location, and it is the same scale, but it is a completely different style and support system, and just some of those little tweaks can really make a big difference. So let's try one other style, and I think I want to go with something completely different. We're going to go with a more modern, almost futuristic style. I say futuristic because we're going to use a lot of quartz, smooth quartz. I think you could probably still keep the shape, but change the blocks from smooth quartz to something that, say, maybe like just regular stone, and it won't feel as futuristic. But that's kind of the idea we're going for. So we're going to match the same structure as the original bridge. So let's go in and bring this one up to block number 6. We'll do that along on both sides. Break this, I think. Is that right? Yeah. And then we're going to bring this over, or 5. So 1, 2, 3. Bring this up here. And then bring this one over right here. And then connect all 4 corners. So let's do the same archway by doing, once again, a stair with a slab on top next to a solid block with 2 slabs, and then a stair and a slab. And then instead of the way we did it before where we just framed down each side, we're actually going to bring this all the way across. So let's extrude, and we're going to bring all of these blocks to the opposite side. So using that same shape, but we're going to switch it up here in just a second so you can get a better idea of what we're going for that's a little more futuristic. So we've got this on one side, let's do it on the other side. So what I'm thinking is, instead of having it attached to the columns like it is now, we're actually going to break these 2 blocks right here. So let's do that on all 4 sides. and then extrude this so that they connect. So we'll do that over here as well. Oops, bend that back. Pull this over here, and then I'm going to go ahead and connect the top as well while we're at it. So this is kind of the bay that we are starting out with. So if you can imagine, as we start to repeat this all the way down, you're going to, instead of having like the arches framing and holding up the center and then being split by the column, that column's gone, but it's still going to have that frame that's holding up kind of at the center point going down into this column. So let's go ahead and repeat this on each side just to give you a better idea of what I'm talking about, just to get a better view of it, but that's kind of what we're going for. So now you can see better that the bay size is technically the same, but because we're offsetting the structural points, it makes more sense to show it at an extended view. So let's go in and add some lighting. So I'm going to add some sea lanterns under here. For the most part, none of these blocks should be spawnable with the exception of this middle section. So we're just going to add trapdoors all the way across just in case the lighting isn't enough, which it typically should be, but just to be certain, we're going to carry that all the way across. And then now in the center, let's go ahead and add some slabs on the end, and we're going to do end rods facing into the slabs and then a chain at the center. And then we could just like knock out these slabs here just to give it a little bit of a pattern, but most people probably won't see that. And let's go ahead and put the upside down stairs along the front once again, just to add that additional depth. And then for the handrails, we're going to put a solid smooth quartz block above each column. But then along the center, we're going to go ahead and break it up again and put another one down the middle. And whenever I think of modern, I think of a lot of clean lines. So I'm going to connect each one of these with some chains. And then we're going to add iron trap doors on top and run that along. But just to add some lighting, let's go ahead and swap these last chains for end rods and repeat that all the way around. And lastly, let's go in and just break up the top of the walking path so that it's not so clean and white. So I'm going to go down and use the quartz bricks and replace those right off center. So let's do that along this way as well as this way. And then on either side of the quartz bricks, let's swap the solid quartz block for a stair. And just for fun, let's just line the center of the bridge with some iron trap doors. But really, at this point, it's just a matter of whatever is within your style and whatever you like. But we just wanted to do something to break up all the clean white and add some shadows to it. So I've gone ahead and extended the other two bridges so they are the same size, just to align with this last modern one. But as you can see, they all do keep the same base size. And once you get this proportion, you can just repeat it all the way down the line. And you can have a bridge that goes as long as you want, and you can adjust however you would like, whether it be to, say, replace the buttons with potted plants or to swap out the leaves for like honeycomb, really anything you can do. But this is what we've got for our 3 bridge designs. And once again, they're all the same size. They are the same location allegedly, but just different styles. Now that you understand the design of the bay that we will be using, let's go ahead and start repeating until we get to that destination we are headed towards. So this is how far we have made it with the bridge, and we actually have this moment right here where we go underground. So this is one thing we didn't talk about, is how to end the bridge. We do have a couple different ways. So the way that I have it set up is the bridge starts and ends both at ground level. So this one is up here, but we do have moments like this where we can either attach it to a build, or we can use stairs to get down, or you could even bring the land up to it. But then you've got these moments like this where it hits land and we decided to tunnel through. Now you may notice we've got another bridge that we've been working on, and we've been putting these techniques to the test. We are still working on finishing up our first bay design, but you'll have to wait until the next episode to see what we end up coming up with for the final design. And I should probably go ahead and show you the inside of the tunnel. It's very simple. We considered trying more colorful block palettes, but I honestly just wanted it to feel like it was carved out of the land, and so we kept a lot of the stone. This area specifically is where all the mossy stone bricks come into play, and we've got some tuff as well. So it just made more sense for this space to be a little bit more humid. We've got some roots coming in as if it is dilapidated, and I really like how that tunnel worked out, especially from a distance. Soon enough, we're going to have an entirely new bridge up here that heads in that direction for some future projects that I won't spoil too much of, but we have talked a little bit about them on stream. So if you want to see me finish this bridge, check me out live. I am typically live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday around 2 p.m. CST. I hope this was helpful. Like I said, there's no one-size-fits-all method for a bridge. It really has to do with your own style. There's so many different factors that come into play, and I just wanted to share with you how I like to approach bridge designs and how I'm continuing to approach them as I build more bridges in this world. Thank you to everybody who left a like on the video, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. We'd love to have you around here. As always, a huge shout out to all of my channel members. Thank you so much for the continued support, and a download is available on the channel with all 3 bridge variations if you would like to use them yourself. I'll see y'all next time. Bye bye.